Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ask the Planman. I'm your host, Bruce Weinstein, and I have a belief that everybody deserves a plan in life, whether it's a financial plan, a retirement plan, college plan, tax plan, estate plan, insurance plan, exit plan, even fitness plans. Today, I'm being joined with Machen MacDonald, award-winning strategic growth coach and #1 best-selling author. He is the founder and owner of Prioritze. He is a guide that elite small business owners and professionals have gone to for over 25 years to help them gain increased clarity, confidence, and capacity to optimize their potential and that of their teams. Machen is a serial entrepreneur, having been a successful financial advisor and having started over 5 businesses. He's written 5 books, that's 5 more than me, and he is a regular presenter on the speaking circuit. His workshops and internet inspirational lectures teach and motivate small business owners and trusted advisors the deep insights and pragmatic skills that they crave. They discover how to accelerate their growth and success of their businesses while experiencing greater life fulfillment. And I think that's very important. I've asked Machen to come on to the show. We're going to talk about effective time management and how to be more accountable within your business, whether you're a solopreneur or you have a team of people. Machen, let's kick it off with, what are you seeing as the biggest mistakes professionals make in their time management?
Getting stuck in their heads trying to do it all at once.
How do you mean?
Well, in this day, especially the last few years, things have turned upside down. We've had to kind of reinvent ourselves. We've had to pivot and learn some new things fairly quickly and get proficient at them. And, to stay ahead of the curve, it takes a lot of stuff. And, life kind of moves at the speed of thought. We have an idea, we go, we need to do that. And we try to put it in play or implement it, when it's not fully baked yet. I find a lot of people are experiencing that. And to help them just kind of step back, take a breath, look at what's the most important thing, what's the one thing that if they did that would make everything else easier, and then focus on that and get that done.
What kind of steps would that require when you say take a step back and breathe? I mean, it sounds very Zen-like in essence, but from a physical execution standpoint, like my Fitbit or whatever tells me to stand up every half hour and go walk, right? Like, it's kind of prompting me. So what kind of things are you either giving people as tools or they can incorporate, let's just say without your help, right? The WIFM for everybody, what's in it for them? So,
Yep.
Whether they work with somebody like you or not, what can they do as a takeaway here that they might be able to execute?
Yeah, perfect. One common tool that I often share with just about every client is something as simple as what I call a brain dump. In other words, when you're feeling a bit confungled or overwhelmed with everything that's going on, is just grab a blank sheet of paper and start writing on that paper all the things that are taking up some of the brain space up here, or causing that gnawing sense of anxiety that we can all drift into. And write it out, whether it's personally related, stuff at home or with the kids or spouse or partner, stuff at work, stuff with a client, stuff with whatever. Just write it out. And it doesn't have to be in a list, just can be free form on the page. Once you get it out of your head, you see it on paper, it doesn't feel as daunting as when we don't know what's floating around in our noggin. Now, the trick is this: circle all those things that's on that sheet of paper that you really can't do anything about. And with those things that you've circled, just kind of turn them over to God, to the universe, to the gunslinger in the sky, whatever it is for you. And
has God taken more things now? His lists are pretty full. I don't know. I'm kidding.
Now, what you'll notice with the things that you didn't circle, with the things that you can actually do something about, go ahead and underline those items, and then look at what are the things that really are the most critical, that if I got this 1 or 2 or 3 things done, it would really make an impact. It would give me a sense of progress for the day. and then turn
Okay.
those, whatever those underlined ones are, into a box. So when you're looking at your sheet of paper, you'll have a bunch of stuff circled, a bunch of stuff underlined, and about 3 to 6 things that are in the box. Take those 3 to 6 things that are in the box and look at your calendar and realistically look where you can place those items to get them done. And then at the end of the day, having done that, if you get just one thing done that was the most critical thing, that'll have more positive impact on your future than just feeling frustrated and overwhelmed looking and worrying about the rest of the stuff on the paper.
I'll go back to old school days, the Franklin day planners, and you used to write down the things you had to do, and then you kind of made it an A, a B, and a C, and then a A1, A2, A3, and kind of prioritize. And of course, you rarely got to the B's, certainly not the C's, and then they kept carrying forward. So it sounds somewhat in similarity to what you're doing here. My Franklin day planner is over 35 years old. I started doing that, but and then I've heard others that say, like, make a top 10 list and then kind of look at the top 3 and then just work off of the first one in order, and then not really worry about the bottom of the list. So you're kind of taking it a little bit different direction to say, take the lower end ones, find a different day and time to deal with them. So at least mentally you've compartmentalized, I've addressed it, right? And so, for that business owner or just individuals in general, like, where does insomnia come from? It usually is you got a lot going on and you're processing at night so much when it's quiet. The noise, for me at least, the noise calms down the day and all the interactions going on. And, just before we start recording, my phone's buzzing and there's another fire to put out, right? So now you got to figure out when to get back to them and how to help them with that fire, plus everything else that is already on my day. So, these are the distractions that it doesn't have to be self-employed. It's people in general, anybody who works, anybody who's got responsibilities, even if you're sitting there as a receptionist or you're sitting there as a cashier, you're dealing with constant flow of something else, right? There's always something else coming about. So we all have to deal with it. So then the question is, how can one compartmentalize that? And then, I liked what you said before is, it's in God's hands. Like these few things I really can't do something about, and I got to let it go. I got to stop worrying about it. And, I kind of have the thing of not today, like I want that cheesecake, not today. So, I got these problems. I can't deal with them today. I got to get back to Machen. I've got to help this person put out that fire. They need their such and such done today. And then it becomes your priority. So what happens, what would you think in the sense of the challenge is a level of overload, right? Like I don't stop working till the work's done or I'm just physically collapsing, right? Like you're self-employed and you eat what you shoot, you got to keep hunting. And so it's hard sometimes to shut down. Then there are other people out there that are more on the clock and they're going to work until they're, dinner bell rings and it's time to Fred Flintstone it out the door, right? The bird screams and he's out the door. So how is somebody going to meet some of these challenges where, I'll use that expression, you're drinking out of a fire hose, right? You're just drowning in all of that stuff that just keeps coming at you. Is there a method to deal with something that, look, 1 or 2 things is one thing, 100 being thrown at you, what is there any recipe there for somebody to potentially, as an ad hoc to this?
Yeah, absolutely, Bruce. It's, we all have the triage of our life and our business that we've got to deal with. Time exists, so we don't have to do everything all at once. So we have to do, and you used the word a couple times just now, and that is prioritize, right?
Yeah.
We have to prioritize what's most important, what must get done, whether we feel like it or not, right? Most people fall in the trap of, well, I'm just not motivated or I don't feel like it. Well, I wish you well with that. You still have to be disciplined to get the right stuff done. And so getting clear on our hierarchy of values, right? What's most important to us and in what order, we can make quicker decisions, right? Roy Disney used to say, decisions are easy when your values are clear. But most people don't know their hierarchy of values, and it feels like they've got competing values. Well, I want this, but I also want this. I don't know which is more important. And they just spend hours ruminating on not getting the stuff done. So if we prioritize based on our values, get it into our calendar when we can actually do something about it, then we've got a lot of power. There's something that in his book, Deep Work, Cal Newport talks about bookending the day. Because like you said, there's a gazillion things happening throughout the day, and we don't necessarily have much control over, our clients calling with this, or a home office dropping, they lost this paperwork, or whatever snafu may be coming about. But where we do have pretty much a block of control is at the beginning of our day, right? The first hour or so, and as well as the end of the day. Right. So the trick is to build routines into those two special or sacred hours that are going to fuel us, that are going to nurture us and recharge us, so that we've got the presence of mind in the triage of the rest of the day. And so that's my solution for people, is helping them build out their ideal work week and knowing what their bookends of each day should look like, and then doing their absolute best at adhering to that ideal work week.
Well, that's the challenge. And I'll go back to that Franklin Day Planner and your point of the bookending. I haven't really heard it labeled that way, is you if you're starting your day at 7 and you're making that A, B, and C list, as you end the day, you're now revisiting that list. What did you mark off? Who's still left? What else did I need to do? What got added to that list all of a sudden? And then you're kind of already making the list for the next day.
Absolutely.
To reprioritize, so that, I get the front end of the next day, but if you do a good job before you go to bed, you kind of have a notion of what you're going to be executing the next day, right? And then, of course, what happens overnight when you start logging in and seeing your texts and emails, and you're like, all right, I got to get back to Machen now, and all of a sudden the list gets revised. So it makes a lot of sense. A lot of stuff that I've heard over the years as well is that the time blocking, the time management, whether you use an Outlook or Google Calendar, whatever calendar system you have, is blocking out time. There's me time. I follow, some different business coaches, mind, body, spirit, right? And so, they have things where they have their exercise time built out. They do their spiritual work, whatever it might be. They do some professional reading on some level. I listen to the podcasts and audibles of, various things that are out there, relative to sales and marketing and coaching. And then, and then it's the work execution, right? If you are delegated to, as we said earlier, eat what you shoot, well, you got to have time to hunt, right? You can't just keep preparing the carcass to eat it. You got to go out and get the next one. And so where in that regimen is the prospecting and the marketing? And again, we're throwing out these cliches, working on your business, not just in your business, and, all that type of stuff. So how are you either training or executing with the people you have of like time blocking and calendar management? Is that, part of the lessons, let's say, or the path you give them?
Yeah, it is. Actually, when I work with people, we have a journal that we've created. We call it the POD journal, which POD stands for Plan, Organize, and Diarize. Right? Plan your future, organize your day, and record the past of what works and what needs work. And in that, we've got various exercises to help them, and you'll love this plan, man. It walks them through how to build out their business plan, right? What's a vision, mission, goals, strategy, and so forth. But we also look at, there's a whole spread of what's your ideal work week need to look like based upon who you are. How are you wired? What is your energy and rhythm during the day, during the week? What are the different themes that make up your business and your life? And so we help people theme their work week. So as an example, for me, mine is Marketing Monday, Touch Base Tuesday, Working Wednesday, Thinking Thursday, and Follow Up Friday. so that when something comes at me throughout the week, I can recognize which theme this falls into, and I can just
Okay.
sweep it over to that day. So if it's something around thinking or creating, I know that's for my Thursdays, right? Right now we're creating something. It's a Thursday. Imagine that.
Okay.
Okay. Marketing Monday is just where I get all my thoughts together and push out all the marketing and schedule all the social posts and all that kind of stuff. And that way it just gives us a sense of being able to stay in a lane or stay on a track throughout the day when we do that. And so, yeah, there is a whole system that we use for people to help them dismantle the thinking habits and the doing habits that are contaminating their success and start to build the winning habits that is going to contribute to their success, because it's all
Well, you said
habit.
that's the key word. It's the habits. It's creating structure and a habit around your day, week, and month, so that every day is just not a fire drill. Right. You're just not constantly putting out the fires and the alarms are ringing. And then, to me, it's about control, right? Planning and proactivity is controlling your environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so I work very, very stringently off of Calendly and calendar planning. My phone is put away. This is obviously a recording session, but if I'm on a Zoom or I'm in a client conversation phone wise, there's zero distractions. That's where my attention is. My client has 100% undistracted time of Bruce. And there are times that I'm in the middle of something where Robin and I work together. She's upstairs, my wife, and she'll come down with somebody on the phone. And I'm like, I'm in the middle of something. Like, they need to make an appointment. You have the calendar. This is when we can, it might be later that day if she could see where my openings are, or send them the link and have them get on the calendar. But again, that's why we're a duo. And so there's certain things she can do. And if it gets to a point she can't handle it and she needs to bring me in, well, you're going to have to wait till I'm off my call with Machen. Like, I'm not putting the phone down. I'm not hold on in the middle of the Zoom, right? So again, as best I can, certainly there's always going to be an exception here or there of, a different urgency, right? Your kid's on the phone in the ER. It's a little bit different, right? So, but in relations to business and priorities is I work around that, and I try and educate and train, not that they're monkeys, but train them, my clients or prospective clients. Like, look, this is how I run my business. When you have me, you have me. Mm-hmm. But I need you to be aware. You can text me. Don't just call me randomly. You can email me. I will respond as fast as possible when my next availability is, that we can communicate accordingly. So I try and be responsive super quick. I may be on a Zoom where I'm off camera. I can look down at the phone or something and respond. It's the beauty of Zoom sometimes. But if I'm in a client call, I'm not doing anything. Like, it's when it calls over, then I'll say, hey, look, I just finished a call. I'll be available at 2:00. Is that good for you? If not, here's my calendar link. See what you can find. Like, I'll throw out one or two choices, and then here's the calendar link. Like, if they can't work off of that, because my day's full, right? And I try and adhere to what's on my calendar as frequently, consistently as possible. That's my habit, right? Mm-hmm. So, it's come back to the point is, you need to master and design your day, and you need to be in control of your day. And this is where the habits that Machen's talking about need to be formulated, constructed. Certainly, it's, I'm sure, a work in progress, right? That there's massaging, just like the clay, you're molding clay into something, right? You're making a pot or a bowl. You just got to keep working and working and working and fine tuning it, right? So it's always a work in progress. It always can be modifications. You agree?
Oh, I totally agree. And I want to just highlight something that you said, which I thought was brilliant. You manage the expectations of your clients, right? It's like 100%. The old saying, people treat you the way you train them to treat you. Well, right. it's a conditioning thing, but it's also the sharing of expectations. And as long as people know what to expect, they're
That's right.
fairly happy as long as we're meeting that expectation. But a lot of times people have, the expectation that Bruce should drop everything and take my call, right?
Yeah.
And if that's their expectation, they haven't been told otherwise. Now that's not a great user experience. So it's so much time and energy can be saved just by clear communication and expectations.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm very big on setting expectations, the Sandler upfront contract, type of thing. But again, it's a new client. We predominantly work by referral. I'm not out there, running ads and getting inbound strangers calling as much as referrals. So usually they're coming in with some level of an endorsement or, so it's a little bit easier conversation, right? You've heard me say it. I have nothing to sell. I have nothing to sell, just problems to solve. So the question is, what's your problem? Why are you calling? How can I help you? And then let me tell you how this is going to work. And then these are going to be the options. And then we're going to go through what your options are and hopefully give you the information to make the best decision. I'm here to navigate you through that process. What I have is not necessarily what you need. And so it's irrelevant, but I could share with you my experiences. And so I take you through that, let's call it the customer journey or experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%. It's about expectations. A lot of what we do is health insurance, and health insurance sucks. Like, people just expect to have like everything covered for virtually no cost, right? And I'm constantly hearing myself say the same thing. There's no nirvana in health insurance. It doesn't exist. Something's going to disappoint you. We need to narrow down what it is that's going to disappoint you the least, right? So again, it's setting their expectations of like, if you think there's a perfect solution here in health insurance, it doesn't exist. Okay. So let's lower the expectations of what we're going to come across. And then you're going to tell me where you want to land, right? Is it price? Is it coverage? Is it, whatever it is. So yeah, I appreciate that. So again, back to the point for the listener, the so what in here is, if you're not doing a good job setting the client's expectations of how you work, what your process is, then they're running you, you're not running them. And you're losing control of your business in its core, but in your day, because your day is constantly going to be interrupted. So I'll go back a number of years, or probably 20 years plus now. So, I came up through the ranks at Merrill Lynch, young financial advisor. And it was a group of us and a core of us. And, years later, we kind of separated and came back together. And my practice was much more designed along the ways that we're talking about, with the proactivity and the clock and time management. And, this guy was constantly sitting by his phone, just waiting for the incoming calls to interrupt his day. He was totally out of control of his day. I'm like, why do you keep answering your own phone? Why do you have an assistant out there? Let her screen your calls, and you decide who you're going to take, when you're going to take them, when you're going to get back to them, and stop just taking inbound phone calls, which is interrupting your day. There's things she can do that you can delegate to her, but you need to assess what it is. Why is Machen calling me? And he was so in this routine of just answering his own phone and dealing with every fire as it came that, his productivity was out the door in the sense of what he needed to do. He needed to make outbound calls. He needed to follow up with, whatever the was on his hit list, right? Yeah. So he wasn't doing that. And so, the beauty today with the cell phone, most people are using cell phones. Well, it has a voice message system. Like, you can put a message on there saying, I'm in the middle of something. I'm sorry, I can't take your call. I will get back to you in between, like whatever it is. And it's like, well, I don't need an assistant now. My phone screens my calls. I see it's Machen. I'm expecting Machen's call. Oh, damn it, I missed it. Let me get back to him, right? Catch him. Or it's a fire, assess the fire, and then shoot him a text. Hey, I'm in the middle of something. I should be free at 2:00. You're going to be free then. I'll give you a call back. Right. So you just communicate. You're talking about expectations, but let's throw the next word in there is communication. right? It's not just the expectation, it's the communication because, and my wife is guilty of this, she won't like me saying it, is like she's always in somebody else's head making their decisions. Yeah. I'm like, don't go there. You don't know what Machen's thinking. Don't presume that's where he's at. That's your mental map. That's not reality. And until he tells you that's what it is, then you'll know that's what it is. But we get caught up in that emotional baggage, right? And so we're presuming, oh, well, he didn't get back to me and I emailed him 3 times. Well, then pick up the phone. Maybe he's not seeing your emails. Maybe he's going into spam. Like, I mean, people are so reliant on the passive ways of interacting these days. It's a text, it's an email. Maybe your phone was stolen. You're not seeing these things for 3 days. Your battery died, right? You dropped it and it cracked and you're waiting for it to be repaired. Like you just, so for me, the proactivity of this, right? The plan man is to just be in control, be proactive, and most importantly, be communicative.
Yep.
Right? I have no qualms whatsoever. If you or I are on a call, we're running long, and I have somebody butted up against you, I'm going to say, look, I'm looking at the clock. Oh, it's 12:30. Look, I got somebody at 12:30. I said, give me 1 second. Let me text them that I'm running late. Because now I don't want to take away from what I'm dealing with that client at the moment because they're just as important as the next person. But I also don't want to be late. That's just my pet peeve is I'm just going to shoot them a text. Hey, I'm still on a call with another client, wrapping up their enrollment. Can you give me another 5 or 10 minutes? If not, I apologize. You let me know when we could reschedule. Right.
Yeah.
Then,
that's all.
And I've had I'm sorry, say again.
That's all people want. They
That's
just
all people want.
Be kept in the loop of what's going on and what to expect.
Yeah, 100%. And so let me tie this in and I'll shut up again. So part of what I use in this Calendly system has confirmation, emails and texts. And ad nauseum, it goes out 6 times, 3 texts, 3 emails. But it does 2 things. It allows them to reschedule and it allows them to cancel. And I will tell clients without any hesitation, thank you so much. I appreciate you rescheduling. I appreciate you using this. Like, I don't care if somebody has to cancel and reschedule. Whether you text me that, hey, look, our call's at 7 tonight. Something came up. I can't make it. All right, it's noon. Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Would you mind doing it next week at the same time? Let me check my calendar, right? So as long as they're communicative back, that's a sign of respect to my calendar, right? And I give it. And I complimented her and I thanked her. And I'm like, look, I know you're busy. Don't worry about it. Just keep me informed. Let me know what's going on. And I'm always happy to reschedule if you need to reschedule. Let me fix this here a second. It seems like I'm getting loud. So I hope to get the same. And I can't tell you how many people don't show up for their call. They got 6 reminders, 3 emails, 3 texts. The last one an hour before our engagement, whatever that is. Right? You got it when you set up calls with me. And so it gives you the window. Oh man, I got Bruce in an hour. I'm really jammed up. Let me hit that reschedule. Let me hit that cancel and at least let them know I can't make it. That's just being respectful back. Right? So I use it in that regard. And if people aren't using those kind of systems, they should check it out. They're very affordable.
Yeah.
It lets you manage your calendar. It lets you look, I'm on these tangents. I apologize. I like nothing less than going back and forth with somebody. Well, you're good Friday at 2 or Monday at 3. No, I'm not good. I got the kids' soccer game. I got a lunch. How's Friday at 4? And you're just going back and forth with 17 emails. I broke that 4 years ago.
Good.
Get Calendly, Calendy, Calendly.com. It's $150 a year. For the pro version, it's $15 a month. Do yourselves a favor, buy it, set it up, use it. I just give everybody my calendar. I have it designed to where and when I want to be available, right? And then they can book accordingly, and I don't have to fall in that trap. So again, back to that effective time management. This is a massive time-saving tool. Massive. For $15 a month, it'll be the best money you've ever spent in micromanaging your business and your time, my opinion.
Yep.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, you bring up a good point, and that is, look at where in our work we are wasting time, right? And I like to think of the word system, SYSTEM, as save yourself time, energy, money. So if we're looking at our
Keep writing these
day,
down.
where am I wasting time? Where am I wasting energy? Where am I wasting money? And so, like with the scheduling, right? How much time do we spend going back and forth with emails and missed calls and missed appointments and blah, blah, blah? There's a system for that, right?
Right.
Yours is called Calendly. I also use Calendly, but there's a bunch of them out there.
Sure.
And there's a bunch of other types of applications that can help us save the onesie, twosie and the back and forth and so forth to, Calendly's $15 a month. There's a bunch of them, in those 15, 20s and 30s and 40s and 15s can add up for sure.
And by the way, there's a free version of Calendly too, people. So you can start it for free. So
right.
If you don't want to
but even if we do have to spend some money each month for that, that's a cheap assistant. We don't have to hear about them griping. We don't have to pay benefits for them. And it's done automatically, right? So one of the things I tell people is look for the waste. Right. And whenever you roll your eyes or huff and puff, that's probably a good indication that you're wasting time or energy.
Sure.
And so
give me system again, save yourself time, energy
and money. Yeah. I got that from Mark Victor Hansen, I think is the first person I heard say that.
Right, everybody should write that down. There's your so what of the day, folks. So system, save yourself time, energy, and money.
Yep. And look for the waste of time, energy, and money, and then get a system or a process or a person to do that, to free you up so you can go do what you're brilliant at, solving problems around health insurance.
Again, you and I have been around the block a few times. So, the early lessons were calculate your hourly rate and then figure out how to designate those items on your list to what that hourly rate requires. Meaning, is this a $15 an hour task or is this a $200 an hour task? And then find people, find systems, find tools to take that on. Whether it's a VA, these days become very popular, right? So, if my hourly rate's $200 and I'm licking envelopes and sending out holiday cards, and that's a $15 an hour task, well, then I should have somebody, I sign the cards, I personalize the cards, but, if somebody else could seal them, stamp them, put the return address on it for $15 an hour, then that's not the best use of my time, right? So you're back to that system again, is time, energy, money, is identifying, well, even if you're not making that hourly rate and you want to be making the hourly rate, it's the same decision making, right? Most business owners are afraid to go higher, or here's another one. I have one person to hire. Do I hire another salesperson or do I hire somebody for more admin and back office, right? I only have $1 to spend. Do I put it here or there, right? So again, it's, is it the horse or is it the cart? You want more sales? Well, then you better hire a salesperson. You get more money from the salesperson. Well, now you can hire 2 assistants, right? So,
or hire a unicorn.
Or find somebody who can do both, which is harder, which is harder. and they probably, and they're not good at either.
Yeah, but you're right. We've got to look at things and either limit, eliminate, or delegate. And I challenge people a lot of the times to eliminate. Right? People, they need.
I'm filling up my notes here. Give me that one. Let's do that one again for everybody. If you're not taking notes, people, you should be, and you got to watch the broadcast again. So it was. Limit, 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 eliminate,
or delegate.
Delegate.
Delegate, like you said, if somebody can do it for $30 an hour and you make $200 an hour, it makes sense all day long to pass that off, to delegate that.
Sure.
But the big one, true, is eliminate. And what I mean by eliminate is no. Just say no. right?
Mm.
And the way I look at it is if something's in alignment with my values and going to contribute to my success, imagine two circles that are overlapped, right? There's
Right.
hell yes. Yes, I'm absolutely going to do this because it benefits me all the way around. And if it's a no, it's not, it's a hell no. But most
Right.
people are in the middle of just hell. They don't say yes, they don't say no, right? But they
Right.
think they should be saying yes. And the quickest way to success is really saying no to the distractions and interruptions,
Yeah.
things
Like
that
I
are
said,
not in alignment with our zone of brilliance.
yeah. I guess to go back is my no's are I don't take calls. First of all, if you're not in my phone, you're not even thinking about answering it, right? How many people, they just grab their phone the second it rings? Like, but
Yeah.
that number, it's how many are calls, spam calls and people cold calling you because now it's all cell phone, instead of office or house line. So everybody's cold calling you on that.
Yeah.
You get in somebody's system. So I look at people, I shake my head. I'm like, there's no caller ID there. It doesn't say Machen. It doesn't say Bruce. Why are you answering? Oh, I want to see who it is. Really? Like, that's not effective use of your time, bro. Like, what are we doing here? Like, there's a voicemail system. Half the time, 90% of the time, it's going to be garbage.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if it's caller ID and it says mom, okay, are you ready for that phone call? Do you really want to take a call from your mother at 2:00 in the afternoon? Or, yeah, there's something going on that I know she's dealing with. Yeah, I got to pick that up. Right? So but you got to use the tools.
Power of our network, right? It's like I always kid. It's funny to me. People say, "Oh, my list is 10,000 people," or whatever it is, and I'm like, "Well, how many of those people, if they saw your number pop up on their cell phone, would pick up the phone?" They're like,
right? Who's
6?
Yeah.
That's the power of our network, is the number of people that would actually pick up our number, pick up our phone call, right?
Yeah,
and
100%.
that's what we should be striving for. And to the opposite of that, with what you're saying, is like, if they're not in your inner network and you go to bat for them no matter what, why are you picking up the phone? Because that's
100%.
taking time away, not just from you, but from your clients.
Sure.
Right? They don't want you picking up all the phone calls.
Right. Something's going to get sacrificed. The question is it you? Is it them? What are you giving up in exchange for? Right. That interaction, however and whatever it is. So, it's only because it's fresh of mind, but I got into some, we were blessed. We got a couple of referrals yesterday and still enrollment season. So I was returning calls and getting with them. And, once somebody raises their hand, I don't make it about me and my calendar as much as making sure they get what they need. Right. I don't pester people. I'm not going to nag you. But as soon as you raise your hand of like, hey, we're looking for X. All right, well, how fast can we get together? Right. Because if you're uninsured and something happens, I don't want it to be because you couldn't get on my calendar.
Yeah.
So I don't play that. So I'll work till midnight if I got to get somebody, taken care of. That's just me. That's my value, as you referenced earlier, right? That's my value prop. So I'm not going to cold call people at midnight. I'm not going to hunt people down and chase prospects. But if a referral comes in, hey, Machen told me to give you a call and, our insurance is running out and I really need something. Okay. Can I get you after dinner? Like how 7:00? Okay. I'll work through dinner. Right. So Robin's upstairs texting me, got to go to Home Depot, got to go to the supermarket. You want me to wait for you? I said, just go. Like I'm getting back to these people and I worked till 8:30 last night. Right. So I had to get it taken care of. That's the priority for me. That's my value is, that my value system is to make sure it gets taken care of. So Home Depot can wait. Like it's not, but if there's no calls, all right, we'll go to Home Depot. Right. So you have to prioritize and navigate.
Yeah.
I know you got a few more bullet points. I'm just looking at the clock as far as our timing goes. Let's talk more about Pro Brilliance, the business. Like, let's kind of give people some nuggets about the business, how they can operate and work with you. What are some of your actual deliverables? We're going to share your contact info in the show notes for them, but, kind of give us a 10,000 foot view, on Pro Brilliance a little bit more.
Well, in a nutshell, Bruce, what I do for folks is I help them bring their A game to their hero's journey of business. Now, it sounds a little cliche, but we all have this capacity that we can perform at. And then there's our performance. To the degree that that gap exists, we're unhappy, right? We want to know that we're performing at our capacity. And so that's what I mean by bringing your A game, right? Like moment to moment to moment, you can bring your A game to everything that you do, whether it's a relationship at home, whether it's working with a client or prospecting or networking, serving the community, whatever it might be. So bring the A game, but then what's your hero's journey? What's your call to adventure? Why are you on this big blue marble? Most people can't answer that. So
Right.
we've got some deep questioning and that's hence the name of our business, Pro Brilliance. Pro is for provoking, right? So it's bringing forth, right, your best thinking based on your wise self. And we all have that wise self. And then we also have all these other voices in our head that tell us we're not enough and why. And so it's really learning how to listen to this. While these are still here, they're not going to go away, but we have to learn to befriend them so that we can stay in our wise self and bring our A game moment to moment to moment throughout the day, week, and month on our journey to growing our business and serving our clients. And so one of the ways that we do that is, and I want to make sure I get this in here for your listeners, is something we call the image process, IMAGE. And we do this every day, and we teach people to do it every day. And what it is the I is setting your intention for the day, but more importantly, for each segment of your day, right? So for this podcast, my intention was to be compassionate and giving and resourceful for the listeners, right? I might, after this, I've got another client call and I'm going to, bring up some compassion or some creativity. So for each segment of my day, how do I want to show up? What do I need to be? What do I need to do? What do I need to have? So I get clear on that. The M in image is miracle or magic. And that's noticing throughout the day what's happening that's way out of my control, that's showing me, I'm part of a bigger system, right? It might be finding $1 in the parking lot or whatever, or getting a referral, right? Is awesome.
Yeah.
The A in image is affirmation, right? So I'm going to set my affirmations for the day, maybe even the segment of the day. And then we also do something we call ask formations, because we can all sit there and say, look in the mirror and say, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire. And, we've run out of money at the middle of the month. We can't really say it with conviction. So what we want to do is we want to ask formation. So why am I a millionaire? How am I on track to be a millionaire? And our brain goes to another place rather than making up BS. It says, oh, well, I could do this. I could learn that. Here's my resources. And it gets us to be more resourceful. The G in image is gratitude, right? The quickest way out of any depression or anxiety is gratitude. What are you thankful for? What's going well? What's working? And just take inventory of that. I do that several times a day. And the E is for expansion. And that's where, again, if we know our values and our hierarchy of values, we can look at the day and say, okay, where did I live or honor my values? So for me, contribution, creativity, learning are some values that I have. So at the end of the day, I look back and say, well, what did I learn? How did I contribute, or who did I contribute to? And when I can put a couple bullets to each of those items, the I, M, A, G, and the E, I can look back over my day and I can say, you know what? Day well lived, life well done. And I can look back over the week and over the month. And that really helps people reset their business nervous system, if you will, to stay empowered, to stay motivated.
That's awesome. So let's do, so image, intention.
Yep.
Miracle or magic. What's the miracle or the magic in within the day? Affirmation or ask formations.
Yep.
Gratitude and expansion. IMAGE for those out there writing it down. So These are great nuggets. So let me recap a couple of things. So we have pod, plan, organize, and diarize. I make sure I didn't write diarrhea. Diarize, diary. If you're not catching the word diary, well, yeah, we got to deal with that. Limit, eliminate, or delegate.
Yep.
We got system. Look at all these so what's here, folks. We got system. Save yourself time, energy, and money. And as Machen said, look for the waste. And then the last bomb he just dropped, it's somebody else's show. I shouldn't say that. So the last nugget of gold he gave us here is image, intention, miracle, affirmation, gratitude, expansion. Machen, this is awesome stuff. How can people reach you at Pro Brilliance?
If you just go to probrilliance.com, there's a couple cool freebies that you can download to kind of get in the game. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Or you can always call our number, which is 530-273-8000.
All right. Again, we'll put Machen's information for Pro Brilliance in the show notes. You can find him at probrilliance.com. Machen, Machen, at probrilliance.com. He just gave you the phone number. He's on LinkedIn. So I'd like to thank my guest. Yeah, LinkedIn's always good. I'd like to thank my guest, Machen MacDonald, for joining us today on Ask the Planman. We hope you found some tremendous nuggets here for your time management, setting expectations, not letting your day get taken over, right? And really being in control and setting expectations, not just for you and what you're trying to accomplish, but also start to work and manage your clients' expectations in your processes. So I'd like to thank Machen for being here with us today. Folks, this has been another episode of Ask the Planman. I'm your host, Bruce Weinstein. I have a belief everybody should have some sense of a plan in life. Machen gave us some great ideas here for managing time, planning your day, and taking better control in your business sense. So we hope you found some value there. We need your help. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our podcast stations. Love to hear from you. You can hit me up at bruce@asktheplanman.com. I got a toll-free number. You can call me on my dime, 844-PLANMAN. Please remember, when you need some advice, always get it right. Come ask the Planman. Until next time, Machen, again, thank you so much for being with us. Folks, we'll see you next time.
When you need some advice, never sacrifice, always get it right. Ask the Planman. Finance, insurance, and more.